everyone, our next topic, that is nuclear technology. So in this video we are going to discuss about the fundamentals of nuclear technology. So this technology basically we utilize in the field of defense technology and also in the energy sector for the production of electrical energy. Okay, so we must know about the fundamental of this topic. So when we are talking about the fundamental of this topic, that is nothing but nuclear reaction. Okay, so nuclear technology is based on the fundamental of nuclear reaction. Now there are two types of reaction we see. One is the chemical reaction, another one is the nuclear reaction. When we say chemical reaction, there two elements or two compounds participate in the reaction and new compounds they are getting formed. That is what we call the chemical reaction. Now when we see the chemical reaction, moving of electron or transfer of electron we see, or sharing of electron we see in case of new bond formation, and due to that new compounds get formed. But here when we say nuclear reaction, we see the whole atom participate into the reaction, and when two lighter atoms combine together and they form one heavier atom, this is one kind of nuclear reaction. Similarly, we see breaking of a heavy nucleus into two lighter atoms or lighter nucleus, that we call what? Nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. So two kinds of reaction I am talking about right now. So there are two types of nuclear reaction we see. The first one I am talking about is the nuclear fission, and second reaction I am talking about, that is nuclear fusion, right? So one by one we are going to discuss about these two important nuclear reactions, and on the basis of this reaction we will see application of these two reactions also. Now before proceeding into these two nuclear reaction, first I would like to ask one question. Just think about it. If I ask you one question, that which of the following reaction we see naturally occurring in universe, that is my first question. So think about it. So if you able to think the application or naturally occurrence of any of the reaction, that is nuclear fusion. So first let me tell you about the nuclear fusion, and then we will proceed towards the nuclear fission. And nuclear fusion nowadays it is very important because multiple research going on in this particular part. So first I will tell you the nuclear fusion fundamentals, after that we will move towards the nuclear fission part. Okay. Now when we talk about the nuclear fusion reaction, so here what I am saying in this case, that in case of nuclear fusion what we see, when two lighter atom combine together or fuse together and forms one heavier atom. When two lighter atoms combines together or fuse together and then form one heavier atom, this particular reaction we call nuclear fusion reaction. Now let me tell you the example here so that you can able to understand. Here first you need to know about the isotopes, because this terminology I am going to use here. What is isotopes? Those species which have same atomic number but different atomic mass number. Okay. So for example, I am taking the example of hydrogen here. Hydrogen is having three isotopes. One is we call hydrogen first, that is the protium. Second here I am calling, that is hydrogen second isotope, that is deuterium, and third isotope here I am saying, that is tritium. So it means you are observing here hydrogen, here the atomic number is same 1 1 1, but the atomic mass number you see different here 1 2 and 3. On the basis of different atomic mass number we are saying that these are the three isotopes of hydrogen. Similarly, if you ever heard about the C12 and C14, this is the isotope of carbon. This isotope you need to know about the isotope in case of fission also, because I am going to talk about the isotopes of uranium, right? which is the nuclear fuel for the nuclear fusion reaction in the reactor. So we are going to talk about that later on. That is why I am explaining about the isotope here. So when we say isotope, so any species which is having same atomic number but different atomic mass number, on the basis of this particular definition, here I am saying hydrogen is having 3 isotopes. Similarly, you see carbon is having 2 isotopes. One is the mass number 12 and one is the mass number 14. So if you ever heard about the radiocarbon dating, with the help of that process we can able to identify the age of any fossil. In that we use C14 isotope of carbon. So this isotope here I am going to utilize to explain the nuclear fusion reaction. So let me ask you another question, what is the ultimate source of energy? If I ask you one question, what is ultimate source of energy? Source of energy in our earth, in our solar system, let me say. So that is what? Sun, right? So now the sun is having its own light, right? So when we say sun is having its own light, its energy, what is the basics of that particular energy? When I am saying sun is having its own energy, there is one reason behind it, there is one fundamental reason behind it, and that is what? The nuclear fusion. So when we say sun is having its own energy, the fundamental reason behind it is the nuclear fusion. So I ask you one question, which of the following reaction is nuclear fission or nuclear fusion? Occurs naturally in the universe, then answer is nuclear fusion. So in the sun what is exactly happening? Actually what is happening, if we talk about the isotope of hydrogen, so this isotope of hydrogen, that is protium. When protium combines together, they form what? One heavier atom called what? Deuterium, right? And huge amount of energy get released here. Similarly here you see, when deuterium atom combine together, they form another heavier atom called helium, okay, and that we find here, and huge amount of energy getting released with one neutron. So this reaction taking place inside the sun in normal reaction I am explaining, I am not going into deep into that reactions and everything. Just here I am saying that two lighter atom combining and heavier atom getting formed. Similarly here deuterium and another heavier atom is forming here as a result of this reaction, fusion reaction, that is helium atom, and huge amount of energy is getting released in this process. So this particular reaction we are calling nuclear fusion. So when two lighter atom combine together and form one heavier atom, heavy nucleus, we are calling it nuclear fusion reaction, okay. And as a result of this nuclear fusion, huge amount of energy you see, right, in sun. So take any example of a star, sun is also one star, or Proxima Centauri. So any star you take the example, they are having their own energy, with the help of which reaction? Nuclear fusion reaction. So remember, this is naturally occurring reaction. So from this they can ask the question, which of the following reaction is naturally occurring reaction from the basic science actually. So that is the reaction, remember that. So this is the reason behind the energy of sun and other star as well. Now if we talk about this particular nuclear fusion reaction, so right now there are multiple research going on in controlled nuclear fusion reaction. And whenever we are saying controlled nuclear fusion reaction, it means we are trying to achieve the same reaction which is taking inside the core of sun or maybe other star. That same reaction we are trying to achieve in the earth, but where in the earth? Is there any material which can sustain that amount of energy? Then answer is no. Then still we can able to achieve this reaction. So there is one specific reactor called tokamak. What is tokamak? Tokamak is a magnetic fusion device. Tokamak is a magnetic fusion device. It is kind of a fusion reactor. It is kind of a fusion reactor. So it is a magnetic fusion device, tokamak. Inside that, all the researchers, all the research facility based on the nuclear fusion reaction, all the reaction they are trying to achieve inside this magnetic fusion device. And this is nothing but the artificial sun. Remember that. So artificial sun is not that kind of structure we look every day in the morning. Remember that. It is just not like the natural sun. It is a device, and inside this device we are trying to get the same reaction, we are trying to achieve the same reaction and energy inside this magnetic fusion device. So that is what the research is going on. If we can able to achieve this amount of energy with the help of this tokamak magnetic fusion device, which can sustain that much amount of energy, we can solve the energy crisis problem everywhere. But this is not the easy task to do. Remember that. This is very tough. So that is what we are doing in case of nuclear fusion reaction. That is why it is important. So right now I am not going to give you details of the tokamak or magnetic fusion device. This is another topic. Right now I am going to discuss about the fundamentals only. Okay. So just you have to remember, tokamak is a magnetic fusion device, and under this device we are trying to achieve controlled nuclear fusion reaction, and that is what the research right now going on. In the France, there is one project called ITER project, International Thermo Energy Reactor Project, Thermo Nuclear Energy Project we call it, right. So that is what the ITER project. India is also part of that project, remember that. It is situated in the southern France. Now moving towards the next important part, that is the nuclear fission. Now here you need to understand everything about it, because right now if we talk about the electrical energy production commercially in the nuclear power plant, so that nuclear power plant is actually based on the nuclear fission reaction, remember that. So currently in all the nuclear power plant in India, specifically I am talking about our other part of the world, at commercial level we are producing electrical energy with the help of which reaction? Nuclear fission reaction. So what is nuclear fusion reaction? So here splitting of one heavy atom into two lighter atoms. This process is called nuclear fission reaction. I am giving you one example here so that you can able to understand. Splitting of one heavy atom into two lighter atoms. So how we are achieving this? So suppose I am saying this is uranium, okay, this is natural uranium, suppose I am saying, and with the help of fast moving neutron, it means we are bombarding neutrons in this particular uranium atom. Now what you are going to see, this fast moving neutron is having immense energy, and due to that fast moving neutron energy, this uranium is going to split into two lighter atom. One is barium, another one is krypton, and you are going to see some neutron is also getting released here, which will further break down remaining uranium. So now you see splitting of one heavy atom into lighter atoms, that we call what? Nuclear fission reaction. And here also you are going to see what? Huge amount of energy, remember that, huge amount of energy, that is what I am saying here. So when we say nuclear fission reaction, this reaction actually we are utilizing in our nuclear power plant. Now another important point I would like to mention here, when we say nuclear fission reaction, so here two types of reaction based on application I am talking about here. One is controlled nuclear fission reaction, and the second one is uncontrolled, uncontrolled nuclear fission reaction. When we say uncontrolled, it means continuous this reaction is going on, we are not controlling that reaction. So the application of this particular reaction, the application of uncontrolled reaction you see in the nuclear weapon or nuclear bomb, also known as atomic bomb. Atomic bomb, right? So remember that nuclear weapon or nuclear bomb, they are based on which kind of reaction? Nuclear fission, you know that. But it is based on uncontrolled nuclear fission reaction. Remember that. It means once this reaction initiated, we are not going to control that reaction. But when it comes to the controlled nuclear reaction, nuclear fission reaction, so for controlling purpose will require one what? Nuclear reactor. Reactor, remember that. Nuclear reactor, that is what I am saying here. So what is the application here? What is the application? Application of controlled nuclear fission reaction is production of electrical energy. Production of electrical energy at commercial level, and we are doing that right now. Okay? Whatever electrical energy we are producing inside the nuclear power plant, we are utilizing the nuclear reactor for controlling the nuclear fission reaction, and with the help of that we are producing electrical energy. Now some other important factor you need to know, because sometime in examination, in the prelims examination, sometime they add the technology and the science together to ask the question, and sometimes they design a statement in such a way that that statement carries the information from the fundamental NCERT. So here I am going to tell you some other stuff which is important. So when we say controlled reaction, controlled chain reaction, here I am talking about, okay. So what is chain reaction? When one fusion takes place, then it will continue to the second generation, then third generation, then fourth generation, so and so on. So when the splitting reaction take place one after another continuously, this we call chain reaction. So here what I am going to say, that this nuclear reactor fundamental I am going to tell you. When we say nuclear reactor, so inside this nuclear reactor we need fuel, and this is important one. So what kind of fuel we use? Radioactive material. Radioactive material. We use radioactive material. Now for example, here I am saying, for example, uranium 235 or uranium 238, right? Similarly plutonium 239, similarly thorium 232, right? These are some of the radioactive material we can utilize. Can we utilize any of this? So directly we cannot utilize all of the examples I have taken. So here we need to know there are two types of material, radioactive material. One is the fissile material and another one is the fertile material. And this is very important for understanding three-stage nuclear program of India, which is important for examination. So when we say fissile material, now you need to know that I told you about the chain reaction. When one split is happening, then after that another split, then next split, and so on. This we are calling chain reaction. So to sustain chain reaction, we need one kind of material. And what is that kind of material? That is fissile material. So those material which can sustain chain reaction, we call that material fissile material. But what about fertile material? So those material which cannot sustain, chain reaction, we are calling it fertile material. Now example is important here. Let me tell you an example. Fissile material, when we say, so uranium 235 is a fissile material. Directly we can utilize this material for production of electrical energy because it can sustain the chain reaction and can produce huge amount of energy. Similarly plutonium 239, that is also a fissile material. Similarly here I am taking another isotope of uranium, that is uranium 233. Here I am going to talk about this later on. This is also a fissile material. Okay. Now but when we talk about the fertile material, now you see the example uranium 238, this is fertile material. Similarly thorium 232, that is also fertile material. But it means these two radioactive material we cannot utilize directly. Why? Because they cannot sustain the chain reaction. So what we can do now? If we want to utilize these material, what we can do? We can transform them, we can breed them. So here another important point I would like to mention here, so that you can able to understand some of the fundamental for further classes, because that is important to know for 3-stage nuclear program. So how can we convert this fertile material into fissile material? So this we call transformation, or we are calling it breeding. Okay. So here I am saying we can convert or we can transform fertile material into fissile material. So there are different types of breeder reactor for that. Now we have uranium 238, right? Now we can transform this uranium 238 in the form of plutonium 239. We can do that with our advanced reactors. Similarly, we can convert thorium 232 in the form of uranium 233. Now I told you that uranium 233 and plutonium 239, these two are the fissile material which can sustain the chain reaction. It means we can utilize these two elements, these two material for producing electrical energy, because they can sustain the chain reaction. So this is what the breeding and transformation we say. Now why I am saying this important conversion? Because in India, if we talk about, so we have only 1 to 2% of uranium reserve, of global reserve. So of global reserve, India is having only 1 to 2% of uranium reserve. But when we talk about the thorium, we have 25% reserve of the world, right? In the southern India, we have this uranium, and 25% of the total world reserve we have in India. And that is why we are interested in thorium, so that we can able to utilize this thorium in our nuclear power plant for producing electrical energy in terms of the nuclear power plant or nuclear reactor. So Dr. J. Bhabha, which is actually father of nuclear technology in India, he initiated India's 3-stage nuclear program to solve all the energy crisis problem in India, because he was knowing at that time, after independence, if India need to be developed, first we need to solve the energy supply problem, because for becoming a developed nation we need to grow the industry, and for industry energy is the basic requirement, and for everything also. So that is why, to solve the energy crisis in India, Dr. J. Bhabha basically designed the India's 3-stage nuclear program. And in the 3rd stage, what he said, that we will able to utilize our thorium reserve in India. And that is why this fundamental is important, because whenever they are going to design the questions from the 3rd stage of the nuclear 3-stage nuclear plant, they can ask one basic question from that thorium is not the fissile material, it is a fertile material which cannot sustain the chain reaction. But what we can do to make it fissile? We can transform this thorium 232 in form of uranium 233. We can breed them, and with the help of that breeding, we can able to utilize uranium 233 for producing electrical energy in our 3rd stage, right? So that is what the important part in terms of fuel, that is the nuclear reactor core part. So whatever I am explaining right now, in the core of the nuclear reactor, which component we use? Fuel. Remember that, and this is the fundamental about the fuel part. Now moving towards the next part, I told you inside the nuclear reactor we are controlling the nuclear reaction, right? So it means we have certain control mechanism. So right now I am going to talk about the control rod. Next is the control rod. Why we use control rod in nuclear reactor? Now tell me which one of the following particle is utilized for splitting the uranium. I told you that is neutron. That neutron, fast moving neutron, can split the heavy radioactive material. Now here that control rod is actually for absorbing neutron. So whatever neutron getting produced or getting released in case of chain reaction, if we are going to absorb that neutron, we can able to absorb the neutron, we can able to control the nuclear fission reaction. That is what important point here. So this particular control rod is actually made up of either boron or cadmium. Remember that. This is also important. Now I am giving you one condition. Suppose we want to initiate the chain reaction in the nuclear power plant. So what we are going to do? We are going to pull out all the control rod from the nuclear reactor. And after achieving the nuclear chain reaction, now we are going to control the chain reaction by absorbing the extra neutron. So then we are going to basically insert the control rod based on the control mechanism. Now suppose I am giving another condition, that suddenly we need to basically off all the nuclear chain reaction. What we can do? We can insert all the control rod simultaneously, and all these control rod will absorb every neutron, then no neutron for further splitting reaction. So if we want to switch off complete nuclear reaction, nuclear chain reaction, we want to stop nuclear reaction. So we can basically do what? We can insert all the control rod, they are going to absorb every neutron, each and every neutron, then there will be no splitting reaction further. So that is how we control. Now another thing we can do, we can use moderator. So another mechanism for control. What moderator perform there? So moderator performs what? It slow down the fast moving neutron. So what is going to happen in this case? Now when neutron it is accelerating, so certain minimum speed is required to break the uranium. If we can able to slow down that fast moving neutron, it means we can reduce the speed below the minimum speed required for splitting. So that is how also we can control the nuclear chain reaction. So for that moderator is required. So moderator, the material we use as a moderator is basically graphite and sometimes heavy water also, D2O. So that is how we can control the chain reaction. So that is why I told you, for controlling the nuclear fission reaction we need nuclear reactor, because inside the nuclear reactor we have control mechanism for controlling the chain reaction. Okay? So that is some fundamental points regarding the nuclear reactor you have to know. Apart from that, we use coolant also for cooling down the core of the reactor. Coolant we use for cooling down core of the reactor, and for this we use either D2O or we use H2O, heavy water or normal water for cooling purpose, right? So this is what the fundamental points regarding the controlled nuclear fission reaction happening inside the nuclear reactor, and this particular reaction we utilize for the production of electrical energy in the nuclear power plant at commercial level. And for that I have told you some of the fundamentals regarding the fissile material and fertile material. Okay? So on the basis of this you can able to understand India's 3-stage nuclear program. Remember that. So Dr. H.J. Bhabha basically initiated India's 3-stage nuclear program. So this 3-stage nuclear program is for what? Is for utilizing thorium reserve of India, and to solve the energy crisis, energy requirement problem in India. And what are these 3 stages? In short, I am going to talk about it right now. So the first stage talks about the PHWR. Based on the reactor, the first stage is known as pressurized heavy water reactor. Second stage is known as fast breeder reactor, and third stage is known as thorium based reactor, or sometimes we call thermal breeder reactor. Okay, so I told you in the third stage we will be utilizing our thorium reserve. So what we are doing in the first stage, in short, here I am going to tell you right now. In the first stage, as a fuel, we are utilizing natural uranium, and natural uranium is having what? Natural uranium oxide actually. Okay? This natural uranium oxide is having uranium 235 plus uranium 238. Okay, and now we know uranium 235, this one, if we talk about uranium 235, this one is fissile material. If fissile material, we can produce electrical energy out of this because it can sustain the chain reaction. When it comes to the uranium 238, we cannot utilize this particular isotope of uranium for producing electrical energy because it cannot sustain the chain reaction. Why? It is a fertile material. So due to that, we are going to convert this material as a what? Plutonium 239, remember that. And this is what? This is fissile material. Now it means two process going on in the first stage. Right now in India, all the nuclear power plant running under the first stage, remember that, first stage. It means two process right now going on in our nuclear power plant. One, we are utilizing uranium 235 for producing electrical energy because it is a fissile material which can sustain the chain reaction, and the second one is a fertile material, and we cannot utilize this material directly for producing electrical energy because it cannot sustain the chain reaction. So first we need to convert that into the plutonium 239. We are breeding this and we are storing this plutonium 239 for our next stage. So right now we have developed a fast breeder reactor successfully already, and we have tested it also, right? So after some time we are going to see implementation of second stage in India. We are going to see in the newspaper also about article about this, right? So when we say fast breeder reactor, here as a fuel we are going to utilize what? Two things. One is the uranium 235 plus plutonium 239. Sorry, here we are going to utilize plutonium 239 plus thorium 232, remember that. So what we are going to do here, we are going to utilize this plutonium 239 for producing electrical energy. Why? Because plutonium 239 is a fissile material which can sustain the chain reaction. So we can utilize this for the electrical energy. What about the thorium 239? We are going to convert this thorium 232 in the form of, we are going to transform this in the form of uranium 233, and this is a fissile material. And now in the third stage, what we are going to utilize? We are going to utilize this uranium 233 which is coming from the second stage. We are going to store that and we will be utilizing fuel uranium 233 in case of third stage, and at the same time we are going to utilize thorium 232 to transform this in the form of uranium 233 so that further we can utilize this. So in the next stage, now you see we are utilizing uranium 233 which is actually we are getting from the thorium 232 in the last stage, and in the third stage we will be utilizing the combination of this uranium 233 which is coming from the second stage from the breeding from thorium 232, and also we will be again breed thorium 232 in the form of uranium 233 for further uses. So it means I can say here that third stage is completely based on thorium, because this uranium 233 coming from the thorium from the second stage, and this is also we are doing the breeding process for upcoming time, for future. We will store this. So that is what the vision of Dr. J. Bhabha at that time, right? So we are observing right now that we will be implementing our third stage, this whole 3-stage nuclear program till 2050. Right now we have successfully achieved the second stage in the developmental phase. We already completed that part and we have successfully tested it. Now we are going to implement this second stage, and after implementing, now we are trying to develop TBR, thorium based reactor, so that after the implementation of second stage we will able to implement the third stage. So this is the India's 3-stage nuclear program. So for understanding all this concept, the fundamental is required, remember that. But there are different application of the nuclear fission reaction also, because nuclear fission reaction we utilize in the nuclear power plant for producing electrical energy, that is one application. When we talk about uncontrolled nuclear reaction, remember that uncontrolled nuclear reaction, we utilize this process in the nuclear weapon. So another application. So atomic bomb, for example, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? So that two nuclear bomb, they are based on what? Uncontrolled nuclear fission chain reaction, remember that. Now there is one another topic, that is the nuclear fusion, controlled nuclear fusion. I touched that topic in this particular video, but there will be a separate video for the complete understanding of the nuclear fusion reaction, for understanding the current scenario or current research going on in different parts of the world. So that is also important, because we are observing that all the different nations right now, they are trying to achieve the net gain energy in case of nuclear fusion reaction. So what is the meaning of that? Whatever input we are giving, out of that how much energy we are achieving? Is we are achieving the more output as compared to input? If yes, then we are achieving the net gain. So what is the meaning of that? Sometimes we see this particular thing in the newspaper. So for understanding of that particular concept, we need to go deep into the nuclear fusion part. So we will try to understand that part in the separate video. Okay, thank you so much.